Uh, Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching me from. I am your host, I'm Pharmacist Kenneth, and this morning I'm going to be taking you on a health education series. Yeah, it is very important because of the kind of incident that we are seeing around us. You see, most of the time somebody will be healthy this minute, and the next minute you will just hear that the person has died. So it usually becomes a thing of surprise. Sometimes we attribute it to village people, and we attribute it to different kind of things, not knowing that it's actually a situation that we could have handled if we knew what to do. So this morning I want to take my time to give us a lecture on this. And you see me holding this. This is called automatic sphygmomanometer. It's generally known as a BP machine. They call it BP machine, but the actual nomenclature is sphygmomanometer to check the blood pressure. The blood pressure is the rate at which the heart is pumping blood around our body, because the heart pumps blood. It is the blood that carries oxygen to our lungs as we breathe out oxygen, as we breathe out carbon dioxide and breathe in oxygen, and also carries nutrients, the nutrients from the food that we eat. It carries it around so that the energy will be able to sustain us. So watching our blood pressure is very important. Watching our blood pressure is very important. Once you are age 45 and above, you should keep eye on your blood pressure, especially if you have a history of blood pressure, people that have lived with hypertensive heart disease in your family. Maybe your parents were hypertensive. Once you are at this age, you should start monitoring your blood pressure so that if it is discovered that you are developing it, then you can tackle it on time. Because when you discover an ailment or an illness or a sickness, if you discover it on time, it is easier to treat. And it is also more cheap to prevent diseases or sicknesses than to treat them. It is easier to prevent than to treat. It is also cheaper to prevent than to treat. So that is why we came up with this health series. Now we interpret laboratory results. Any kind of laboratory result, we interpret it, we tell you the inference or the remarks of whatever the result is. This morning I'll be just talking about high blood pressure, hypertension, and the way to use this sphygmomanometer. Now, this is the sorry, this is the cough. This is the cough. This is the cough, and it's already, you see this place, it's already written okay, arrow going to this side and that side. Then this particular inflator, you that is inflator channel. Let me just use the word inflator channel. You will ensure that it is like this, whether you are using the manual or if you are using the automatic. This one is the automatic BP machine, that is sphygmomanometer. You must ensure that it is like this. This place should not be here. It shouldn't be here. It has to be here. Then you cup it around your hand at this level, not this level. Now you look at this machine. You see this place? This place is where you can plug in a cable. Maybe if you want to use an electrical source to power it, you can plug it here. But if you look at this place, that looks like a hole. That is where this stuff enters. So you plug it in here. Then this machine, you are supposed to balance it on top of a table or a stool that is at your heart level. At your heart level. So by the time you balance it, you will maintain a posture, a static posture. So by the time you maintain a static posture, you press start to allow it to inflate. After inflating, it will start coming down gradually. By the time it finishes reading, it will show you the result. So let me demonstrate it. Be sure that the cup is at the same level as your heart. Do not move and keep quiet. Now, if you are ready, let's begin. Your systolic pressure is 114. The diastolic pressure is 85. The heart rate is 82 beats per minute. According to World Health Organization standards, your blood pressure level is high normal. So this is if you listen to the machine, you hear what it said, the blood pressure is normal. Now, this is 114/85. The systolic is 114. The diastolic here is 85. While the pulse rate, that is the rate at which my heart is beating, is 82. So you can see it now. Then usually this 114 is actually a range from 100 to 120 is considered normal for this upper one. Then from 70 to 80 is considered normal for people who are not hypertensive. Then for people who are hypertensive, depending on the level of hypertension, because hypertensive heart disease, they are in grades. We have hypertensive emergency, we have hypertensive urgency, we have hypertensive heart disease, and we have normotension. Normotension is when the blood pressure is normal. We also have hypotension. Hypotension is when the blood pressure is low, which is even also very dangerous. By the time you are having something like maybe 90 or something below 100/60 or something below 100 and below 60, thing is already going down and the person will start having signs. That one gives signs. It makes the person dizzy, it makes the person feel weak, it makes the person's eye to be turning. So the person will quickly know that something is wrong with my body. But the hypertension, on the other hand, is usually asymptomatic. Asymptomatic means that it doesn't give signs. It doesn't give signs. That is why you see situations whereby people will just slump and they will die. So Um, in order to prevent it, checking your BP is the answer. Checking it is the answer. Like I said, after checking this, you can use the manual one to cross match it. That is benchmark it. Benchmark it is using the manual one to check if it corresponds with what we have here. So if it's corresponding, then we'll know that it is in order. Another thing is this: before you say that somebody is hypertensive, you don't just check the person's BP once and diagnose the person of hypertension, even if it is 140/90 or 145/90 or 150/90. You don't just say that the person is hypertensive. No. Hypertension is usually diagnosed on a pattern. There is a pattern to diagnose it. It is actually the resting blood pressure. Resting blood pressure means the blood pressure in the morning when the person has not actually started exercising for the day. Because, for example, you cannot check an athlete number, somebody that just finished running for a distance. You just come and check the person's number. At that point, the person's blood pressure will be very high. But if you allow the person to rest for a while, you see that the blood pressure will go down to normal. Because the more you exercise yourself, the more the heart is working hard to ensure that it corresponds with the level of exercise that you are doing in order for your body not to shut down. So the resting blood pressure is the blood pressure that you measure when you are at rest. That is, the usual time is usually the in the morning after waking up. You don't just take it right away. You wait like 30 to 45 minutes. You should be sitting down in your bed for 30 to 45 minutes so that your organs can also, they can also wake up. And so after that time, you check. Usually, you use this to check 3 times and take the average. Take the average of this, the upper one, you take the average of the middle one, you take the average of the down one. Now, if you're measuring it 3 times, take for example, it gives you 120, 120 over the 120 for the up one, it gives you 120 3 times. By the time you divide 120, that 120, that you add it up, divide by 3, it will still give you that same 120. For example, if it gave you 80, 80, 80, by the time you sum up that 80 into 3 times and divide it by 3, it will still give you 80. In the down one, which is the pulse rate, it also gives you like 70, 70, 70. By the time you sum it up and divide it by 3, it will still give you that same 70. So any number that it gives you for each of the level, the up, the middle, and the down one, you will, if you're measuring it for 3 times, you're going to sum it up and divide it by 3. If you're measuring it for 2 times, you sum it up and divide it by 2. So any number of times you're going to measure it will determine the number you are going to use to divide it. But you are going to sum it up, like you add it. For example, I said 120, 120, 120 into 3 places. You sum it up, you add it up. The answer it will give you, you divide it by 3, it will still give you that same 120 because it is uniform. But if it gave you 120, 120, 125, maybe 121, by the time you sum it up and divide it by 3, it will also give you a different answer. So I'm just using this to demonstrate what we are expected to see. So by the time you do this for like 7 days, 7 consecutive days, and it is consistently giving you a blood pressure that is high, a blood pressure that is around say 150/90 or 140/90 once it's around that stage, you should be knowing that you are the pre-hypertensive stage. Pre-hypertensive stage. And that stage, you don't actually need to start panicking and start looking for drugs to take. No. You start watch your lifestyle first. You know the things you are doing well and the things that you are not doing well. If you are not exercising enough, if you are stressing a lot, if you don't drink water enough, all these things they add to it. Your dieting, there is what is called dietary approach to stopping hypertension, DASH diet. There is a diet that somebody should be, things that you should be taking by the time you are around 45 and above, especially when there is history of hypertensive heart disease in your family. So in that case now, in this pre-hypertensive stage, these are some of the things that you look out for, and they are the things that you watch, the things you try to control. Then by the time it enters primary hypertension, by that primary hypertension stage, there are drugs that they can introduce to the lifestyle modification. But take note, lifestyle modification first. And by the time it enters secondary hypertension, there are also medications they will give to you depending on your body. Now, sometimes when people get hypertensive, and when they become hypertensive, start living with hypertensive heart disease, they will just want to walk into the pharmacy and buy. They will just say, "Give me BP drug." This particular one that is very popular in Nigeria, amlodipine and Zinopre. They will just say, "Give me amlodipine and Zinopre." No, you don't do it that way. You go to an expert to look at your body, critically examine your numbers. With it, he will know what to give you. He will know the strength to give you. Like amlodipine now, it has 2.5 milligram, it has 5 milligram, and it has 10 milligram. But the 10 milligram is more popular. For example, the lisinopril, it has 5 milligram, it has 10 milligram, and it has 20 milligram. But 10 milligram is also very popular. So people tend to go for the one they know. But that is not the way it works. The reason why it is in different strengths is because the hypertensive heart disease progressive in different stages. So different strength of drug matches with different stages of hypertensive heart disease. So I would like to stop here right now. If there is any question that you want to ask, you can drop it at the comment section. Then, like I said, I will be taking this series for a very long time because I'm not just going to do an hypertension. I'm going to I'm going to teach us how to use this. This is glucometer, the one that you use to check your blood sugar level, like to diagnose if the person is diabetic. And then other test results like uh, EUC, electrolyte urea and creatinine test, liver function test, kidney function test, lipid profile test, um, um, your hormonal profile test, and etc. These are the tests that we actually use to diagnose diseases or sicknesses in order to inform the kind of treatment that the person should commence on. So, based on this, I want to drop it here right now, and I hope that you comment and share for every other person to benefit. And we are open to answering your question at any time. I will drop my number at the comment section. Feel free to WhatsApp me on that number. Then we have specialists that we can always approach to give us a good interpretation and proper analyzing the test results in order to find out what is happening there. Because the most important thing is to know what is happening. By the time you know what is happening, you can now know what to do. So based on this, bye for now. Thank you very much.